Hey, it's Dr. Bruce Rippee with the Strategic Advisor Board with all things health and wellness. I got a lot of questions asking about what happened to monkeypox. If you remember, there was this big thing last summer, this big input of media, is that okay to say? Where look out, here comes monkeypox. We just are starting to get out of COVID and here it comes, right? So what happened to it? Why isn't the media covering it? Why there's never an apology, by the way, when they do something very sensationalistic that causes a lot of damage or a lot of fear. And in all honesty, you can probably get your own political background, but let's talk about the data. So worldwide, less than 86,000 people had monkeypox and less than 100 died of monkeypox. There were about 110 countries that said that monkeypox was existing. And mostly the danger was men that have sex with men, mostly white men. And so what happened? Why was this huge ramping up of this? And then here in the United States, 18 people were hospitalized, 0 deaths. There were some deaths that were attributed to monkeypox, less than 100, about 83 or so worldwide. So we figured out what really was going on. So we knew that it was contact. Monkeypox requires contact. It's not an aerosolized or airborne virus. It has to somehow get in contact with you. You have to touch somebody else with it. So what happened? Well, we know that the LGBTQ community has Pride Month around June. So and that's a worldwide event now. So, and good or bad or great, it makes no difference. That just is what was going on. And men were having sex with men more because there are festivities around this. There's joy, love, and laughter, a lot of sex. There's going to be whatever happens in a wonderful environment. Look at Mardi Gras. I mean, look at all of the other things if you're on the heterosexual side of the community. So when these big events occur, there's much more casual sex and there's much more likely spread of this kind of disease or this kind of virus. So when that happened, you saw a great uptick. And if you look at it, it follows it almost directly. Now, you also say things like 30,000 people were vaccinated. And in fact, that's what some of the companies want you to believe, is that because there's this vaccine against it, that's why everything went away. Maybe it had an impact. Mathematically, it doesn't make sense, but I'm just going to let science do what science says it wants to do. It is for sale, which is unfortunate, and I'll just leave that there, and you can have your own political views. So what happened? Well, interestingly enough, huge uptick June, July. That, of course, there's a little bit of we'll call it a gestation phase of this disease. But anyway, it comes out, it causes a problem, and then it would go away. So when behavior changed, less festivities, the world kind of went back to whatever the world is. And that community stopped having sex with each other as much or in that environment. Monkeypox starts to deliver itself and starts to evade. Also, you have to understand these things burn out because it's a contact virus. It doesn't spread very well. It's not one of those that's in the air. So if it requires contact and contact is not happening, the virus simply can't continue to regenerate or progenerate or whatever you want to call that in the next person. So that's really what happened. It was behavioral. I don't know why the media made this huge event out of it. I think they were hoping to still be relevant. I think most of us realize that a lot of the media right now is completely irrelevant. It's bought and paid for, and you can look at it yourself. But there are still people out there that won't look at one side of the media. They'll look at the other side, and they'll be inside their echo chamber. This job is really, my job is really just to tell you what can you do for you. And that is going to be that if you are a man that has sex with other men, there are certain times where you're going to want to be careful. Is monkeypox going to happen next June, which is just in a few months from this broadcast? Is it going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. But there are certain preventative measures that you can put in place, and I highly recommend those for that type of celebration. I have no desire to talk about morals or anything like that. That's between you, your family, and your God, and that's not my job. My job is to basically tell you, can it spread again or something like that spread again in an event where there are a lot of people having sex with other people casually? And the answer is yes. So just please be careful for your own sake, but also understand that if you go into the doctor immediately once you find something different, you start getting on some medications and you start protecting yourself, the amount of minerals and vitamins that are supposed to be in your body, if they are there, you're much, much more likely to help yourself in a situation from any virus. So that's a big deal as far as that's concerned. There's also some light therapy and things like that that can go on, which I would also highly recommend, but make sure you speak to your doctor about it. I'll see you on the next one of these at the Strategic Advisor Board. Once again, Dr. Bruce Rippee. If you have questions for me, it's DRBRUCE, Dr. Bruce, at brintmed.com, BRINTMED.com. Those go directly to me, and I'd be happy to answer your questions on these videos. In the meantime, be an example of what's possible.